Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tony Chimmel, the GOAT of ring announcers. And you're listening to the Marks Podcast on YouTube.
You know, I talk to Jacob about that constantly, and I'm always in awe. I'm always in awe that we got Tony Chimmel to actually record an intro for us. And that's a happy part about this. I'm Dan at Gerard, and we're joined by the lovely producer Trips today because as much as I like to talk about the happy stuff, you know, we're here ultimately because we love wrestling. It's a passion. It's our privilege to talk about wrestling as a whole. But what I continue to see in from so-called journalists and people who think that they understand everything, they have a duty, and their duty is to produce facts, not their fucking speculations, not their opinions, their facts. We don't claim to be journalists. We are here for entertainment purposes only, and we are fans. We're fucking marks. It's what it is. But constantly, instead of reporting facts and separating, differentiating the two, we're getting people's opinions laced in those same fucking so-called facts. And it's getting to a point where it's ridiculous. So Gerard, give me your 2 cents on that and what I'm talking about, because you know what I'm talking about. But then we're going to go and we're going to talk about some actual facts.
Well, I look at it like this. What's the greatest quote? Opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one. Okay? What you've been seeing in the past week, for a little over the past week, is people who, it's like politics. If things don't go your way for one way or the other, Democrat, Republican, things don't go your way, you attack the other side. Well, we've had a lot of attacking one side. Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? Why'd you have him back? Why did it take so long? And all I got to say is this. The greatest thing about America is, when it comes to our legal system, is guilty is not the way people should be looking at everybody. Because why? You are innocent until proven guilt. Anybody can walk into a courthouse and say they're guilty of a crime. It costs a crap load of money to plead you're innocent. And no matter how much you want to put your 2 cents on it, innocent people do have a right to a defense.
So before you go any further, Trips has a poll that we put on the Marks podcast last week, and I would like her to talk about that poll.
Sure. So I put a tab up on a post on the community tab because I was curious what the audience thinks, right? So I said this week's on the Marks podcast, one of the things we'll be discussing is the return of Brock Lesnar, and would love to know your thoughts. Should WWE have kept Brock off TV? 42% said yes. 25% said no, and 33% were undecided. That I was surprised at the percentage of yes, that he should not be back on TV.
And I will tell the people who despise the fact that he's on TV, I say, listen, give me one good reason why he shouldn't be.
Well, okay, hold on.
Hang on. Hey, Cubics.
He's been off for 2 years, okay?
No, okay, but Gerard, okay, I'm not going to sit here and deny it. Hold on. I'm not going to let anybody not have their opinion. If you don't want him back on TV, hey, that's I'm not here to knock that. That's good for you. You don't want him on. But another poll, what I would love to do is why, or ask that question. Why don't you want him on TV? What is the reason? If and it goes back to what I said earlier about the media and the way they're reporting on this. Do you have all the facts?
Dan, the sad part is, and I'm going to bring this up right now, is being from New England and being a New England Patriots fan. Tom Brady, say what you want about him in a sports athlete. He had a falling out with one of his kids' mother. And people were like, oh, he can't get along. He can't do this and stuff like that. And, and we were like, why should we? Because guess what? It was his personal life. So Brock Lesnar gets involved in a so-called, something that happened in somebody's personal life. How many professional athletes?
Okay, before you even go there, it's not even that deep. And this is my concern. So you're not going to find any basic John Q person in the public who's done more research on this than my wife. My wife is the most analytical mind, and you can back that up, Gerard, because she, in everything you've seen her do, goes to the depths to find the truth. Case in point, you and I have had a discussion, and when we first met was over a particular topic that we're not going to talk about today, but because we never found a smoking gun, never would.
Hold on, but that topic is still alive today.
Absolutely. And if we continue to run with the narrative that we had at the time, that wouldn't have been great. Even though we never said anything as far as this or that, we simply put out the facts. There was no smoking gun. So this is what I do want to talk about. Trips, if you'll please go on to those text messages, or however, you know what, you're the brains behind this. Please go in the order you'd like, and we'll discuss as needed.
Okay, so I wanted to start at the beginning because the point of contention that we've been hearing all week from all the Twitter coverage, wrestling podcast coverage is how Brock's named in this lawsuit, and that's kind of where it starts. Is he's named 42 times in the lawsuit. Now, when this lawsuit was originally filed, the names of individuals were not disclosed. There was unnamed executive number 2 and wrestling superstar number this. When she revised and reissued the lawsuit earlier this year, that's when they started adding names to previously unknown names. And so Brock Lesnar was officially named when that came out. In the lawsuit, can y'all see that?
I want to zoom in a little bit.
Hang on. I'm going to read it anyway because there's not a whole lot to. He is named as a non-party officer/employee of WWE. Number 42. WWE Superstar is a professional wrestling superstar who performs at WWE branded wrestling events. During the time of Miss Grant's employment, McMahon signed WWE Superstar to a new booking contract with WWE. This individual is referred to herein as WWE Superstar. So he was named as a non-party individual. So what does non-party mean? Well, non-party means, hang on. Too many tabs open. All right. A non-party individual in a lawsuit is someone who is not directly involved as a plaintiff or a defendant, but may still be connected to the case through their knowledge, actions, or potential impact from the outcome. They are not named in the original legal action, but their involvement might be crucial for discovery or could be affected by the lawsuit's resolution. So basically him being named, even though he wasn't accused of any wrongdoing, of any assault, of any of the alleged crimes that were allegedly, I say that a billion times, perpetrated by Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis. He can be called to testify. He can be subpoenaed for text messages, whatever. That's what non-party means. Doesn't mean he did anything illegal. Now, go ahead.
What this sounds like to me, and I hope you guys understand this, is I'm a baseball fan. In the later part of the decades, there was a list that came out of people attached to steroids. They came out with this list, and there was people on this list that 10 years after the fact, when they came out on this list, these people were attached to steroids because they said, oh, they failed the test 10 years ago. And certain people got drunk down in that because, oh, your name's part of the steroid list from 10 years ago. Doesn't mean you're on, doesn't mean you're doing steroids, but 10 years ago you failed a test. And this is almost what I compare that to where I'm saying is, if I failed a drug test 10 years ago and you never did a repeat test, how can I go back and say, wait, I didn't fail that test. I think your testing mechanism was wrong. With Brock Lesnar, I'm saying almost to the point of just because your name dropped, she could have name dropped anybody in this thing. Does it mean what he did was wrong?
Hold on.
Hold on. All I'm going to say is this. I'm pretty sure Brock Lesnar being name dropped, he's had to handle something personal at home because his name being dropped.
I'm sure what I'm getting to with this is, and what I believe she's getting to is, hold on, it gets better because, well, I'll let you go on with that.
I'm just trying to build the case. Sorry, and had to start at the beginning. So there are text messages that were listed in the original lawsuit, and there's a text message that I guess was part of the revised that I hadn't seen before. This first one we've all seen. Okay. This is from Vince to Janelle. Quote, here's what Brock said after I told him that part of the deal was fucking you. LOL, that's your turf. She will be ruined after me and leave your ass. Plus, after me, your tool won't fit anymore. With a string of crying, laughing faces. That particular...
Hold on. Before you say that, Gerard, not that you and I would ever have that conversation, but as a man, what does that sound like to you?
I would have to, there's more context to that text message. What did he say before that?
Agreed.
Because that's the only thing that's being put out there. This is where I say about that. I need more information than that text message because you know as well as I do, that's not the only text message that there is. There's a whole
more.
No, there's more.
And that's what I'm saying. There's more.
Okay.
And
I have the more.
Okay, hold on. She has the. I want to just get your first. I wanted to get your first fucking impressions of that. So go on.
And my thing is, it's a two-way street because we all know in text message world, it's never one-way text message.
Okay, so hold on.
Okay, so we have, but that's the message that has been put out to the media that has been used as part to build her case that Vince was allegedly trafficking her to other wrestlers and that Brock Lesnar was one of those wrestlers. My impression from that particular text, and as Gerard says, there's got to be more. We haven't seen anything between Vince and Brock. We don't know what came before or came after. But that message does not scream to me that Brock was all in to hook up with this girl. He's like, oh, that's your territory. The analogy I talked to Dan about, he said it was a reach, but he could see where I was coming from. Someone steals a car. Not equating women to cars. Let's just get that out of the way. Someone steals a car and he goes, hey, buddy, we stole this vet. If you'll do this, you can have my car. It's a stick. And the guy goes, you know what? I can't drive a stick. That's your car. You keep it. Not, hey, that's what speaks to me about Brock. He didn't say, send her over. He goes, ha ha, that's your girl. To me, that's somebody who's playing off an offer or playing off talk. He doesn't sound all in. Now, this other text message that I have saw for the first time is between Janelle and Vince. You see that?
It's not up.
She has a little bit of reverb, Dan.
Janelle says to Vince, I've sworn I'm not his type, but based on certain anatomy, he's getting the fantasy on loan out from you. Congrats. ... Your next contract negotiations just got a lot easier. You will get a hard on reading the exchange. And he says, I'm sure I will. She says he has a fetish though. I don't judge. I'm intrigued, but it's very fitting of his animalistic type persona. If you want to see me tomorrow, I'll tell you about it. Or see me at some point. Vince says, you have to take a flight to Greenville, South Carolina this Monday, even if it's just to see Brock. I bet he calls you tonight. Smiley face.
Bum, bum, bum. You see the smirk on this motherfucker's face, right?
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of thought
So,
in my head.
so as
about
from
the whole thing.
now, I'm going to go with the man's perspective here.
Okay.
What I get from that, if I was into that, my female confidant, my female friend, my female whatever was telling me that I did a good job selling her to him, and that their conversation is going well, and she's like, okay, cool, we got this guy in the bag, we got this motherfucker on the hook. All right, let's keep it working. Let me get the next part of this. I'm gonna hit him up. I'm gonna tell him some more jazz. We're gonna get it, and I bet you he calls you. I bet you. Give me some time. I bet you he calls you tonight.
Yeah, that sounds like you're welcome. I did you a solid. He's going to sign the contract. So she's allegedly keeping up her end. Now, it needs to be said they never met in person. They never had any sort of relations. The first time they were supposed to meet, he was inebriated and had to be taken home. The second time was COVID related. Again, maybe a stretch. But if he wasn't into this, but he wants his contract signed, he doesn't want shit from Vince, and maybe they were talking. Maybe there's text. I'm certain she hasn't released every text. Tomorrow she could dump pages and pages of text between her and Brock that may knock all of our socks off, right? But we don't have that yet. But on the information we do have, for the messages with Vince didn't sound into it. I would not be surprised if him being quote unquote too drunk was by design because he
Or
didn't want to deal with this.
if you read those text messages, she says it out of her own fucking mouth. He was not into her.
No, she said she wasn't into him.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood that. But I thought she was saying he wasn't into her, but after Vince talked to her or talked to him,
She basically said after, I guess, allegedly there was some spicy text. So if she saw a picture, she said based on his anatomy, he's good. So I'm sure he's got whatever.
So let me ask you guys a question here. In 2 years, just about, of this lawsuit going on,
Mm-hmm.
has Janelle Grant got what she wanted?
Depends what she really wants. Does she just
We're-
want
we're talking
notoriety?
about it, right?
She's
We're
got
talking-
that.
We're talking about it, right?
That's what I'm saying. If she wants just notoriety, yeah, she's got it.
She got what
But
she
we all
wanted.
know that she wants
Thank
money.
you. She got what she wanted. And when you see her lawyers constantly having to fight for retractment and stuff like that, this and that, and then Vince's lawyer's like, wait a minute, hold on. If you had that in the jump, why didn't you release it at first get-go, blah, blah, blah. Where is this new evidence coming out of? You hear it all the time.
Sure.
Where in there? I'm still trying to find, like when you see all these stories, all journalists, we can go back to another case that we've talked about before. Where's that it factor? Where's the smoking gun? Where's the guy is guilty of doing something? Because when I see everything like this and I read all of it like that, I say, I've seen worse from teenagers. And, I've seen worse from teenagers about how they'll go out there and if the girl or a guy does something wrong, the girl might send something sexually explicit to the guy, and because she doesn't want to give it out, he'll take that picture and turn it around and send it to all his buddies.
Yeah, it's revenge porn. It's illegal.
Yeah, correct. I've seen worse on revenge porn than this is what you're showing me here.
So I'm going to talk about something that so Ariel Helwani posted an interview that he had with Paul Heyman recently, and when brought up, he talks to Paul Heyman about Brock and what's going on with the court case and this and that, and Paul Heyman goes, "He's here. Let it go." He's basically like, "What are you going to do? It's here." All right. From the way it looks, is Paul Heyman doesn't think that Brock's not in a position where he did anything wrong. Now, let me hold on. Let me.
How much did WWE pay their lawyers?
That's fine, but let me get to that. What Paul Heyman was basically putting out there while talking with Ariel Helwani is, Brock, whenever all this stuff happened, decided, I'm going to go help my daughter become an NCAA state champion, which he did.
He became a dad.
Hold on. He did that for his daughter. He was going to go out there and he's going to make his two sons the best damn hockey players they can be. And this is almost a verbatim quote from Paul Heyman. Brock was good without wrestling. He's fine. Whatever issues he has those are his issues. But that's what's between him and Rena. Whatever issues came out. Now, that doesn't sound like a guy who's struggling, whose marriage is crumbling, who everything is falling apart. It sounds like a guy who's like, okay, well, that sucks. I know that's the reputation. I really don't give a shit. I'm going to go do my fucking family man stuff in my ranch over in Canada.
Listen, let me put it like this. The guy that I saw come out last Sunday night didn't look like he had a worry on his mind. And he was, what is it about most people when they get older?
Okay, so again, you can say that. But there's a difference between Brock Lesnar, the human being, the father, the husband, and there's going to be a difference between Brock Lesnar, the WWE character. So anything that shows up on screen, especially with this new form of WWE they have with the Seth Rollins, with the CM Punks, with all this other stuff, with this unreal shit going on, I'm never going to take that for face value at all. I'm basically just going to say, from what I've gotten, from what I've seen, from Paul Heyman, who is one of his closest friends, from Brock himself putting his stuff out, he's just trying to live his life. They offered him some money to come back. I would think that Brock does love pro wrestling. It was his first big thing.
Remember, he's been being paid to be at home for 2 years. He's been being home for 2 years and didn't miss one paycheck from TKO, WWE, whatever. Like, he had a paycheck.
What you were saying from WWE. WWE's legal has cleared Brock. Now, everybody's turning around and saying, oh, y'all are just saying that, and that's why you're leaning on. No, clearly, from everything we've talked about now, no, we're not leaning on shit. We're going by the facts. We're not, look, I can involve my feelings in this all day long. Do I think what happened to her from her depictions from John Laurinaitis, from everybody else, I think was fucking horrible. I think what happened in his office with him, what she described that happened between her and John Laurinaitis, that is disgusting. I think what happened when he paid her off, bought her a bunch of Saks and Fifth Avenue shit to try to have her and apologize to her, I think that was the catalyst for the end of this relationship, because that is my opinion. I think that was horrible. I think John Laurinaitis getting off with a slap on the wrist, basically, and siding with her because he knows if he doesn't side with her, he's going to be in a lot of fucking trouble. The problem I do have is you have a guy like Brock who, if you've gone through the facts with a fine-tooth comb and really tried to analyze this, has done nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with having a piss fetish. Not my cup of tea, but I'm not Brock. There's nothing wrong.
I was about to say that, Dan. Nothing wrong with having a piss fetish, you know. So a lot of people like piss. It's all good. But up piss, you know. Instead of but up piss, it's but up piss. Anyways, I'm still at work. I'll be in shortly and be back home. But yeah, the only thing we found out about this lawsuit is that Brock Lesnar likes piss, and it's fucking loud as shit in here. But anyways, I'll catch you guys a little bit. Peace on the streets. I'll be back.
All right.
I can say this, okay? When people devote this much time to this, over the fact of, let's reverse it. Let's look at how the crowd reacted when he came out.
Fuck. Okay, Gerard, you can say that, and that's great. But we're talking about. See, this is the issue I have, because they're going to turn that around and say you're only look. I'm a wrestling mark. I love classic wrestling. I love NWA. I love AWA. I love AAA. I love Mexican style. I love the fucking English
Is
strong
he better
style.
for business?
Stop. That's what I'm saying. This is why they tear us up or tear people up. You are a WWE mark, and I love you, but you are always going to defend that company.
No, I'm not. Listen, I'm asking you, is he better for business?
I don't know that yet. We know that there was a pop at SummerSlam, and that was great. But then we also know that whenever there was a press conference, quote unquote, they tried to say when they were calling out for Karrion Kross that they were saying, we want Brock. No, they were saying we want Kross. And how the narrative changes when they want to put out their fucking side of things.
So the talk is that he is named in this lawsuit. The outrage is that he did these things. He was
And you know, for
had
all-
knowledge of or took part in what Vince is being accused of, that he was involved in trafficking.
hey, people, and you know what I say about that is nobody was found guilty of anything. You know, OJ was accused of killing his ex-wife.
But that is
He
not
wasn't
the
found
fucking
guilty
first.
of
That
it.
This is not the same
That's
thing.
not even the same
No,
thing.
what I'm just saying is, though, he wasn't found guilty. The lovely part about America is until you're found guilty.
Okay, but
you
this
are
is the
innocent.
problem. This is the problem that I have with that, Gerard. This is the problem I have with that. You can sit there, and we've talked about the court of public opinion, but to compare him or have him in any way, shape, or form compared to someone like OJ, that does not help his case, and nor is that even apparent to the system. I get what you're saying. I get that. Yes, OJ wasn't found guilty, but let's
Listen,
come on
court
now.
of public opinion, everybody's freaking guilty. Give me somebody who's in a superstar status, who's done something to it. A court of public opinion said they're not guilty. Everybody's freaking guilty in the court of public opinion. Think about it. Everybody's freaking guilty in the court of public opinion. Nobody has ever been accused of
Okay,
something.
so no. This is what I'm going. This is what I'm going to put out there. Okay, we have lived in a society where people like Johnny Depp, and he's the perfect example for me. He was accused of so many fucking things, and how stupid did everyone feel when Amber Heard was brought to be a fucking dumbass. Now, Brock, in my opinion, is being accused because of his relationship, his friendship, and his kinship to someone like Vince. Do I think Vince is an angel? Fuck no. I think Vince McMahon has done horrible fucking things. I go back to the first fucking bomb we dropped about the Nancy Argentina stuff, about that documentary where they didn't want to see the light of day. I go back to everything we've talked about with Ashley Mazzaro. God rest her soul. She was the fucking spark that caused all that controversy that we got caught up in. I go back to every bit of that. Vince McMahon, in my opinion, is a monster. That being said, Vince McMahon is also a monster in this lawsuit for what happened between him, John Laurinaitis, in that office.
If that happened.
If that actually happened. The problem I have is because of his stupid, dirty dealings, a man's credibility, and you should be able to get on board with this, Gerard, because someone you cared about very much, in both of our opinions, his legacy, his good name was run through the mud because Vince just can't tell the fucking truth. And he let that man hang for that. No point, like, not to be fucking hateful, but he let that guy take the heat for some shit I don't believe he did. Right here, he hasn't come out and said that Brock didn't do this. He hasn't said fuck all. He's allowed Brock to sit there. You want him to walk out there and handshake and kowtow for fucking Cena and shit like that? Vince hasn't come out and said one fucking thing that fucking alleviates Brock, the guy that's supposed to be one of his sons, somebody he cares about. He ain't done shit for him.
Well, I want to clear up one thing, J-Man. I have no problem with them bringing back Brock Lesnar for the simple fact he wasn't found guilty of anything. Conspiracy be damned. People who just get accused of stuff in this country for some reason or another in the past 5 years. Accusations are enough to be guilty. No matter where you go for court and stuff like that, you're guilty before you even walk in the damn courtroom. Now, there's a guy sitting in jail right now who can't even get bond, even though half of his case he got proved not guilty. I'm not going to say his name because some of the things he's accused of doing goes far beyond what we're talking about here. And all I'm going to say is, does that mean people are going to stop buying his music, stop listening to his music? Hell no. But in the court of public opinion, which is a very liberal courtroom, we're all guilty of doing something. And no matter how much money you have, you're still guilty, even if you're found innocent. And it's piss poor to where it goes against the whole concept of innocent till proven guilty. I don't know when we lost that, but in this country, if we don't get that back somehow soon or something like that, to where the court of public opinion and the internet.
Well, to your point, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to step on your toes because I know you.
No, you're fine.
That does bother me because this is going to follow him for the rest of his life, and he didn't do anything. In my opinion, from the facts we have, and again, going over it, having these discussions with my wife, again, I'll say it proudly, my wife is probably one of the smartest, most intelligent, thorough people, not just women, human beings on this fucking planet, and she will not put anything out or talk about it. Hold on. Not until she
ask you, how many hours, not minutes, how many hours has she spent investigating this?
Absolutely, and that's the thing. I get
minutes,
countless
hours.
Because I'm going to tell you this right now.
Weeks.
These internet, this what do they call it? The internet world has probably spent minutes.
Exactly. She's not reading some shit that she got on a snippet from a piece of paper. She's literally doing the digging, finding the dirt. You know what? And I'm gonna pull the curtain behind a little bit if you don't mind. There are times that she found out shit before it was out. The whole fucking like lawyer court, the fucking executives, she had their names before they were ever presented.
Some of those wrong.
You may have had some of them, but you had a majority of them right.
I tried.
She had a majority of these people, these quote unquote fucking executives for WWE that were named in this lawsuit. She had them by name. People I'd never heard of, but she had them by name. Why? Because she did her due diligence.
But she spent hours doing it. Not like the internet community to where they spend minutes looking at an ad that might be on, let's just say, the Wrestling Observer.
Oh, don't get me started with that fuck face, because that dumb fuck is over here fucking trying to, from my understanding, I'm not trying to make assumptions, but from when I was reading and the snippets I've heard, was trying to discredit Hulk Hogan's legacy. Go fuck yourself. Anyway.
But you get my point to where I'm saying is like, a lot of the internet community want to click on, they read the clickbait stuff that certain people pull out there.
Because that's what we've become. We've become a fucking little group of instant gratification instead of putting the hard work in. And speaking of that hard work, please continue.
So the last thing that I wanted to share, there was an interview with Lance Storm, and he was talking about obviously the return of Brock. And I thought it was interesting from the perspective of it's a different standpoint, because everybody's talking about Brock like he's actually gone through with the things he's been accused, not even accused, mentioned doing, that he took part in trafficking, which he never did. Nothing ever happened. So Brock, he said, quote, "I think everyone's looking at it from the wrong perspective. I don't think it's about Brock. I think it's about the working environment of women within WWE. Under Vince, there was very unfavorable, bad, pick your own word, work environment for women, dating back to Rita Chatterton, to the objectivity of women with bra and panties matches and thongathons and puppies, puppies, puppies. The very handsy makeout sessions that women had to do with Vince. Take that forward to whatever necessitated Vince to offer multi-million-dollar NDAs to women to stay silent, to what we learned about Janelle Grant, Women were drastically underpaid in that era too. And Vince was removed. And Hunter, Triple H, has made things so much better. Women are making way more money. Women are legitimate stars. Women aren't objectified like they used to be. Women can wear non revealing outfits and still be big stars. So to me, whether you bring Brock back or not, or anyone else back or not, to me, you need to ask your question. Does this support your move to improve and make a respectful, safe environment for women in your company? Or does it detract from that and make it feel like you're going backward? Because I think if you just look at each individual case, did this person do something that's really worth that with this one instance? Not about the individual instances. It's about the overall message you send to women who work for you and in your company about the environment they are going to have to perform in. And I think you have to look at it from the women's standpoint and whether they would be in favor of something or not.
Let me ask you guys a question, and you guys can say yes or no. In the early 2000s, what was the percentage of women working there that was selling themselves in a sexual way? In 2025, what are the percentage of women who are selling themselves in a sexual way? Now,
I would go as far as to say the women of today are absolutely, they like I'll say the Chelsea Greens of the world are selling the diva gimmick. They're not playing the diva role. Where if you look at something back then, you had the only two athletes, and I'm stretching that, the only two ones that were prominent were Lita and Trish. They carried an entire locker room, but they were the ones who were showing off athletic growth. That is the state. And we've talked about this recently that Gerard, even in 2025, you have had a change of stance that these women in this era are making you watch them for their matches, not because of their look.
A couple weeks ago, we talked about evolution, okay?
Mhm.
And what did we say? And specifically me is, I can watch a woman who is attractive but athletic and can do her job in the ring much more than I used to be able to watch a woman who is just there for the TNA aspect of it, but couldn't wrestle a lick. And, you know, and I'm not going to say anything about the woman that Brock Lesnar is married to. Oh, wait a minute, because I'll tell you this right now. That's one of the women I just described. The women of today, you can actually look at and say, oh, she's hot. But wait a minute, hold on. When she gets in the ring and perform, I'm not looking at how beautiful she is, how sexy she is, how hot she could be. She's entertaining me in that ring.
The perfect example of something like this, because you might think I might bring up the Stephanie Vicares, the Julias of the world, because I fucking mark over those two all over the place. But the one that I really will bring up, who I've watched her video of her using her finisher over and over again because I can't understand the physics of it. Sol Ruka from NXT, right? I have not watched.
Fuck
yes,
yeah.
My son, hey, and I'm going to put it like that. You guys will understand this.
You got a soundboard now?
My son
Voice mod to work.
is not, how can I say,
Do that again.
the greatest wrestling fan.
Do that again.
Fuck yeah.
Okay. What'd you do? It's copy Jacob. But anywho, he is not what I would say the greatest wrestling fan. I told him to look up the person you just mentioned. Okay. And when he looked at her and watched that one move of her finish, he goes, I need to start watching more women's wrestling.
Because they've elevated their game to a level that is it's up there, if not. And I'll say it. There are women wrestlers right now that are better than the main eventers.
JJ, man, just so that you know, no, I wouldn't. I'm married.
Now, okay, so back to this case, and I want to go back to something that Punk said. Which one is it?
But before I would say one thing, okay?
Or do you want the other one?
I want the other one.
The one thing I want to understand is
Hold on.
I actually commented.
No. The Cena one. Because
That's what I said.
I bring up something about talking about, and I want people to understand this. In John Cena's last match, if Vince McMahon walks out to the ring
I'm going to kick your ass on that comment. But we'll get to that.
And I'm saying is, and hugs John Cena and walks back through the curtain. But the only thing we see him do.
Hold that thought, Gerard, please, because I want to get back to the Cena Brock thing. Please, can you put that one more time? Put that mushes back up. Thank you, dear. That is where I'm confused. All right. My heart wants to like Paul Levesque. My heart wants to believe that he's doing what's best for the company. But I find it over and over that he's so quick to put blame on other people. He said, this is what Cena wants. But Cena's saying they line him up. He just does the job or whatever.
Here's my question for you. Cena is so loyal to Vince McMahon. Will Cena always...
What does this have to do with what I'm about to talk about?
Will Cena always tote the company line? He
has for 20 years.
We all just saw last week how much they fucked up his comeback. How much they fucked up his go home. They fucked it up. Okay? They fucked up John Cena's last ride. They screwed it up.
Look, hold on. I'm going to go back to I'm going to go back to what Paul Heyman said. Paul Heyman said it best.
They screwed up John Cena's last ride.
No, they didn't.
Okay? Because of one guy.
Hold on.
They tried to make amends for it last weekend. They made amends for it.
That has nothing to do with it. Hold on. Okay, The Rock and Travis Scott aside, fuck them. I don't give a shit about them right now. They have not fucked up John Cena's last ride because if they didn't do this heel turn, right? If they hadn't let
last week.
Hold on. If John Cena hadn't gone heel, there would have been a what if for the rest of what if, okay, and to quote Paul Heyman, what if Ali didn't take the damage he did versus fucking George Foreman? Would he still be better in life? You know, what if the opportunity would have come up for Jordan to play against a Wilt Chamberlain or something like that, a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
All you gotta do is go back and look. The fans booed the shit out of Hulk Hogan, didn't they?
It doesn't. That's not even the same fucking thing.
No. What I'm saying is, though, if John Cena, when he returned, showed that he was still loyal to Vince McMahon, do you think he would have got the Hulk Hogan treatment?
Possibly.
Okay, but they didn't go that route, huh?
But it doesn't matter. And you're okay. So this is why my problem with what you're bringing up.
Listen,
that had nothing to do with where I was going. What I was going with is I was saying that I want to believe in Triple H. I want to believe that he's telling the truth, this and that. I want to believe he's doing positive fucking things. But ultimately, what it comes down to, he's not. He's doing what he thinks, and he's doing whatever. Okay, whatever.
Hey, will you agree?
Hold on, stop. Okay. There's consistent bullshit coming from Triple H, like, oh, we're doing this for Cena. This is what Cena wants. Cena wants to write his final chapter. And the same breath is in, he's trying, and maybe he didn't hear it right. Maybe he didn't hear the audience right when they're saying, we want Cross. And we're going to get to that shit later, but we want Cross. Oh, and you got him back. We're not talking about Brock. We're talking about carrying Cross. What the fuck? So, to what you were discussing about fucking John Cena hugging Vince McMahon, I will not sit here and say that it's okay to have fucking Vince McMahon, who has been, and this is okay, allegations, whatever. He's been there with the fucking Nancy Argentina shit. He's there clearly with the Ashton Mazzaro shit, who they had to admit because of Janelle Grant. That's the one thing I'll give her. Who's had to pay NDAs out the ass for these women. Who's had done these horrible fucking things and made this horrible. It's not a good look. Now, they can have whatever relationships they want. The Daniel Bryans, the John Cena's can have these relationships with Vince McMahon because they saw that side of him. But no, the victims, the actual victims who had to go through his bullshit, and allegedly the biggest icing on the cake here is fucking sitting there and her describing what happened with her, him, and John Laurinaitis in an office behind closed doors enough that she had to buy all this extra fucking shit and beg her and make sure they were good. When he pretended to be Brock Lesnar in a encounter they had. So that, I think, feeds into some of this. I think he wanted her to get wrecked. I think that
he said that. No. There's text messages of what he said he wanted to see happen to her.
He wanted, it's
in black and white.
He's a sick person, in my opinion, who wanted to watch his girlfriend get destroyed by Brock Lesnar.
Be torn apart.
That was his exact words. And that didn't happen, so he did it himself. It went too fucking far, and I think that between what happened in that office with Laurinaitis and her and him, I think that is enough reason why he's a piece of shit. Now, do I think she's handling it the right way? No. Do I think this at the end of the day, I think she was complicit in some of this. I think she liked him. I like that she liked the attention, the money, the gifts, and I think it ultimately does come about money. But in the same breath, she got fucked, and not in the way she wanted.
If he pays her the $3 million, we're not even talking about this.
Absolutely, because just like everybody else, she could have walked away.
Right. So we're 46 minutes onto a topic, okay, which Janelle Grant's attorneys love. Because why? It means their topic still gets talked about. In my mind, until I see something in court, a smoking gun, something, and I'm not going on the word of John Laurinaitis, because I'll tell you this right now. John Laurinaitis does not come across to me as the guy who I want betting a whole case on.
Absolutely, but you're also talking about the guy that was really in the beginning was all Team Vince.
No. In
the beginning, he too was a victim.
He was against him
then
first.
He was Team
Then
Vince.
he was for him. Now
and
he's against him again.
Yeah.
So it's like, wait a minute, John. Are you being conveniently for and against people?
Well, okay, so go back.
And that's what gave her credibility in the beginning, is because Laurinaitis came out and said, I too was a victim of Vince McMahon.
Right, but then he turned around and said, no.
Validated her.
Then he came out and said, no, Vince didn't do nothing, blah, 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 blah.
And then he flipped again.
And he settled his suit with her.
Correct.
As long as he was going to be a defendant against Vince.
Because all he has to do is say that Vince paid me to go in there and do what happened in that office. It was all his. It was all his idea. I didn't want to do it. I had a wife at home, and I was lonely, and she was going through medical issues, and I did that. Exactly what he can say.
And you know what the sad part is about that is? Is he telling the truth?
But see, you can say that, but Karma's a son of a bitch, and Vince has gotten away how many times that we know of that have happened with this shit.
Well, listen, let's talk about what happened last week to him, okay?
He got in a car wreck because he got a text message about Hulk Hogan, and that's the alleged story now.
And guess what? First of all, okay, I still look at it like this. How many, and he turns 80 years old in what, 2 weeks?
You know what? This is the travesty. Hold on. This is the travesty.
In 2 weeks. He turns 82. 2 weeks from today, Vince McMahon turns 80 years old. Tomorrow, Hulk Hogan would have been 72.
No. Here's the travesty, Gerard. That Hulk Hogan's last time out in front of an audience, he got booed out of the motherfucking stadium, or out of the arena.
And then got cheered when they did a tribute to him.
Vince McMahon walked into an arena and they still cheered him. That's the problem I have. That's the issue I have. That's the fucking issue I have, is because say what you want, and I'm not, again, I've said it 100,000 million fucking times. I am not a Hulk Hogan fan. I can appreciate what he did for the business. The guy said bad words. Yeah, that's fucked. The guy played political whatever as far as the business goes. The guy is not accused of being in a back room multiple times or trying to fucking knock on divas' doors in hotel rooms or sexually assaulting anybody.
Here's a question for you. I'm going to say this. The whole thing that changed his whole life around was some freaking sponge guy who probably set him up in the first place.
Absolutely.
Just to make a name off of him. And you know what? With friends like that, I don't need it.
But again, you can sit there and talk about the sponge, or you can talk about the people that have every person that gets caught up in this shit that is around the Vince McMahon universe that gets fucked. Case in point, our Secretary of Education, from what I see, a very lovely lovely woman who's got dragged through the mud over her fucking marriage with a fucking dipshit who's done this stupid shit and finally got caught.
You know what I say about that too? When it comes to her, what is she doing in her job right now that makes anybody compare that to what she did when she held her previous title? And I'm going to tell you this right now. Not a damn thing. Don't get me wrong. I like the fact of what they're doing with a certain department of education. Listen, and as far as the woman who runs it, when she ran a certain corporation and I worked for her, same thing she did then is the same thing she's doing now. But because she happened to have a marriage to a guy who not the greatest human being on the planet, people are going to associate.
You know what?
Listen,
You know what? That's the most beautiful. That is the greatest thing I think I've ever heard you say. Is that he is not that he's a monster, basically.
I said not the greatest human being on the planet.
So that's. I'm sorry. I want to take every victory I can as far as that. You said he's not the greatest. You know what? There is hope for you yet, Gerard Millette. There is hope for you yet to find.
Fuck yeah!
Yes.
I'm saying is, listen. In the world, but my thing is though, where do you classify the Vince McMahons of the world? And my question to that is, look what's going on with a guy who's a famous singer who's in jail right now, and he cannot get parole. He can't get parole. He can't get bailed. Nothing. Okay.
Because we have, we have with him. We have footage of him beating the shit out of his fucking girlfriend.
And you know what the sad part to me is about that is? How many NFL players have had the same thing happen?
I'm not comparing them. And fuck them too, but I'm not comparing them. You know what? This is what else bothers me. If we're going to go into fucking conspiracy theory, right? Fuck Vince. Well, where's the camera footage of him walking in and out of fucking Titan Towers? Where's the footage of him at the fucking WWE headquarters? You're going to tell me that the cameras there just don't work? You're going to tell me they didn't catch him doing shit?
Hey, look at it like this. How many...
the not so phenomenal Jacob McGovern.
What you're saying is, how many times have you, what you just said?
You come back.
How many times do we want to see the video?
Stay in the show. What the hell? You're not going to leave.
Hey, how many times we asked that? Not just about wrestling. We've asked for the other side of the footage in a lot of other scenarios, but conveniently, the other side of the footage never comes out. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's talk about the CM Punk footage that they put out for AEW to where he was supposedly causing so much ruckus in the background that, we're going to put out this footage.
And all he did was just choke out a dipshit. That's all he did.
You know, as much as I don't, hold on. As much as I'm not a big fan of Eric Hawani. I will say this: going back and then again listening to his interviews with Cody Rhodes, Paul Heyman, and CM Punk have been very eye-opening after the last couple of years. And when Punk talks about that fucking Jungle Boy incident, and he told them, "You need to deal with it. You need to deal with it because if I deal with it, you're not going to like it."
Yeah. I mean, like, look at where we're at right now. We're in a situation where people are fucking going ham on Brock Lesnar. Oh, it's horrible that Brock is back. Oh, this guy. I saw a post on Twitter that was actually, it made me, I busted out laughing. Like, oh, I'm done with WWE. This sick company. And it's like, dude, how are you going to feel when No Chance in Hell starts playing at one of these shows? Because I don't think we're far off from that. That's the thing. I don't think we're far off from that.
Well, we're about to hit the hour mark and talking about the Brock stuff. There is something else I do want to talk about. And if we come back, I absolutely want to talk about this. But, well, it seems that the WWE has gone Disney.
It is fucking bullshit. And I'll say this because I don't know, because back in the day to watch TNA shows, you had to get like a black box. Remember the days of the black box? Like you had to get a black box to fucking watch TNA shows. Now we're literally, and by the way, J-Man, you're in the chat. Fuck you, buddy. It's war. It's war now, me and you. But
Jesus.
Here's the thing. Now we're in a situation where overseas, you can still have the WWE Network. I don't know if that's shut down recently, but overseas, that's a thing now.
Netflix. It's all on Netflix. It's all on Netflix.
Yeah. So we're in a situation now where WWE is exclusively giving up the rights to WrestleMania and PLEs to ESPN. Now, we have Netflix that has WWE content. We have A&E that has WWE content. We have all these other fucking services, and it's like, do they really think that people are gonna pay this money to see WWE?
Okay, so hold on. I'm a UFC fan as well. Okay, but I haven't watched a UFC pay-per-view in years. Why? Because you got to pay fucking $20 for the ESPN app or whatever the fuck it is now. Then you got to pay another $80 for every fucking UFC event. This is my concern. Great, we'll get the ESPN app because I'll bundle it with my Hulu and my Disney Channel because that's where I like to watch my Marvel movies and stuff. But then I got to pay.
Good luck, Charlie. You know, I know you.
Then I gotta pay. Am I gonna have to pay another fucking premium fucking amount for each of these premium live events? What the fuck?
And hearing Nick Khan on these fucking because Nick Khan did an interview about this. So yeah, no, we got this. We got the multiple money deal with Netflix. We got this, and then we got that, and then the Peacock deal is still going until 2026. It's like, is there any one superstar right now that you will pay money on this? Like, this is like back in the days, like when they should do tape trading and shit like that. It's like now we're streaming sharing, it's like, cause I'm not going to pay money I'm not going to get my fucking money to ESPN. Fuck ESPN. Fuck all that shit. It's stupid. And again, it's all money. Like, again, this is fucking one of the worst decisions they made in a long time, because now, like, we have to, if you're just a casual wrestling fan, Netflix is the most accessible because Raw's on Netflix. But overseas, Netflix has all the fucking events. They have all the vaults, all that bullshit. And literally, Stephanie McMahon on her fucking podcast literally touted Surfshark VPN. And it's like, just get a VPN. Then you can watch all this shit for free, basically.
Yeah, but how much does a VPN cost?
$10. See, I'd rather pay $10 a month for Surfshark VPN than fucking, like $25 for ESPN Plus, like whatever the fuck it's called, ESPN fucking, bullshit.
Well, what I'm going to say is about this, okay? And I hope you guys understand this. Okay? $145 million. Peacock, 180. ESPN, 325. If you notice, too, what did ESPN also announce this week? To where they're going to control the NFL Network, too. We are going in a way to where, and if you looked, only 2 cable companies will not carry this premium live event shit. One of them is going to be Xfinity, which half the country has Xfinity. I can't remember the other one. So ESPN, I say to you, is if the biggest cable company in the country won't carry this product, why in the blue hell would you commit to something unless...
I'll tell you why. Because the parent company of WWE is, of course, TKO. And because TKO has the UFC, and the UFC is so far up fucking ESPN is because it's the real sports channel, they're trying to get all under one fucking umbrella. Because the more people that are going over there to watch the WWE on ESPN, is that a UFC app? Oh, maybe I'll buy that PLE today. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you this right now. It all starts next year with WrestleMania, okay? That's when it's going to start. I'm going to tell you this right now. If I got to pay to watch WrestleMania, sorry, guys, I'm going to be out of the loop for a lot of shows.
Yep.
Because
I feel the same way. You think I'm going to pay for fucking Survivor Series? No. I haven't paid for fucking a pay-per-view since, the last pay-per-view. Again, I never paid for anything. My dad bought most of my pay-per-views. But the last pay-per-view that my dad bought was Hardcore Justice 2010.
That was the one where that was the ECW revival.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the last pay-per-view fucking my dad ever bought. He's like, never again. He's like, never again. I'm not going to pay $50 to fucking watch wrestling.
Right now, if I want to watch pay-per-views, if I want to pay for it, I could get AEW and pay for it, but you know what? I don't pay for a damn pay-per-view. And
Well, so here's the thing with that, because again, we don't need to talk about AEW because fucking no one's talking about AEW besides Meltzer.
I mean, the last thing I heard about AEW, and I could be wrong in this description, but the last thing I heard is that Tony Khan's greatest regret is not putting Jay Briscoe on television. Oh, go figure! The shit we talked about last week, you piece.
Oh yeah. Why? Why wouldn't he put Jay Briscoe on television? He canceled him for no fucking reason.
So again, I was listening to somebody the other day talk about Tony Khan and about how he got into the business because he told somebody 30 years ago he was going to be the greatest booker in wrestling.
My ass.
I mean, he's the greatest cocaine-induced booker I've ever seen. You know, I mean,
don't get me wrong. If you
allegedly,
if you say,
allegedly,
hey, I'm going to do the greatest matches without selling the match, I'm just going to give you on Wednesday night and not give you any build-up to it, but I'm going to give you a great match on Wednesday night. You know what, Tony Khan? Then you've accomplished your goal. But giving away free pay-per-view matches on Wednesday nights.
Oh, no, I'll tell you this. You know, he's following the WCW fucking blueprint to a T. But beyond that, if your goal is to impress some douchebag from California named Dave Meltzer, and if your goal is to try to get those 5-star matches that no one's ever going to see, I'm sorry. As much as I love New Japan, as much as Jacob and I love AAA and all these great matches that happened overseas, some of the stuff in Europe is some of the best wrestling you'll ever see. But no one ever sees it. The perfect example is if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to see it, does it make a sound? Well, if Dave Meltzer gives you a 5-star rating, does anyone care? No.
Well, and just look at because WWE bought AAA. Look at the way they fucking they're shoving CMLL down your fucking throat, and it's like, again, a mainstream audience is not going to give a shit about what Mystico is doing.
Yeah,
because
but you know
again,
mainstream that WWE just proved.
This is the motherfucker with Sin Cara, and he had to stop the fucking match because he broke his finger.
WWE just proved that behind their machine, they can get anyone over. Perfect example, the man you talked about in your fucking intro and your comments, Mr. fucking Iguana and
Mr. Iguana. Let's talk about Mr. Iguana because again, this is Jim Cornette's fucking worst. Like I heard Jim.
You watch your mouth. I still love Jim Cornette.
I love Jim
real
Cornette,
to me. Damn it.
Here's the difference,
Jim. If you're out there and you see this, I love you. I'm a Republican and I believe in God, but still, I love you.
Here's the thing. I've known about Mr. Iguana since 2022. That's how long I've known about this fucking guy.
And Psycho Clown, who I don't like.
Me and Dan are AAA. We're Lucha Libre nuts. Like, you know, it's fucking like. And again, I'm the one. Again, I wish Puma King was on that Worlds Collide show because I fucking love Puma King. He's a fucking other one that's gonna get over soon. But
for nostalgia, Leland.
Leland, it already happened. It already happened.
No,
Leland,
he wants it on a fucking main.
Yeah, again, you put Santino Marella and Mr. Iguana like on a mainstream WWE show, that shit gets over.
You put Mr. Sacco out there, oh my god.
And here's the thing with Mr. Iguana, it's like this guy can fucking wrestle. You know, like the fucking bullshit.
Holy shit, yes he can.
Yeah, with the whole like, and like again, that Worlds Collide show really was one of the best shows I've seen in a long time because, again, I've been waiting for Aerostar to be on WWE. I've been waiting.
Well, did you see how well it was fucking produced? Okay, say what you want, and I've not always been
the commentary. The American commentary on that show fucking sucks. Okay, it made Corey Graves look good. It made Corey Graves look good because Conan was.
Hold on. I'm going to have to take something back. Something that I've had a stance that I've had for fucking years. And this is going to be a night of that, I suppose. I did not realize how powerful the WWE machine is. I did not realize how powerful they could be. If the WWE machine, I truly believe, was behind ECW at the time of its inception, that would have been a company that would have destroyed WCW because their infrastructure is so fucking good. Here's my reasoning behind that. I watch AAA, which is something I've watched with my father, which I've watched for years. I watched the greats. I watched the original Pentagon. I watched the original Octagon. I watched La Parka. I watched Juventud Guerrero. I've watched Guerrero. Sorry, I watched Silver King.
Macias. I'm surprised El Macias wasn't on the show.
I've watched all these guys from the past. I watched fucking Mil Mascaras. I watched all these guys wrestle, and for the first time in my life, it did not look like a fucking indie show. It looked legit. It had some rawness to it. It had a real fucking feel of something beautiful because WWE was behind it. Now that being said, no, Leland, Vince was not funding ECW to the level you. And again,
that's a fucking rumor that's peddled by fucking.
Hold on,
ECW
they've come out and Paul Heyman has said it. Now again, maybe I'm wrong, but Paul Heyman has come out and said, Too Cold Scorpio, Furnace and LaFon, Draws, and Al Snow were guys that were going back and forth to ECW. Because back and forth from WWE to ECW, and Vince wanted to bring Too Cold Scorpio in as Flash Funk. Now
they had a deal with a record company.
They had a deal with a record company called Tommy Boy Records that played the theme music for Too Cold Scorpio. And he said, and Vince said, or Paul said, I have no problem with Furnace and LaFon. I have no problem with this person and this person, but I will lose $1,000 a week to Tommy Boy Records. Because we put a third, every first commercial was a thank you to Tommy Boy Records, and they paid them $1,000 for the promotion. Now, when he took Too Cold Scorpio, Vince said, "Don't worry, I'll cover the $1,000 a week." So Vince was paying them $4,000 a month to use the rights to Too Cold Scorpio. That's the funding that they gave them. Is $4,000 a lot of money? Absolutely to some people. But for a wrestling company at that time, right before that boom, and they compared it to the .com boom with the bubble popping and the pay scale going so high, $4,000 isn't that much as far as renting fucking lighting for production and everything else. It wasn't. So Vince did not fund ECW to the extent everybody else did. And there's still to this day tax documents that show that Vince never put a dime in Paul Heyman's pocket. He put it in their company, HHC, the HHC Corporation, which was the parent company of ECW.
And like that to this day,
HHG, one of those.
Like you still have ex-ECW guys like, yeah, I'm still owed money by Paul, and he never told us. I mean, Vince was running the show the whole time, and it's like, okay, it's like you're fucking guy. It's like
again,
it never fucking happened.
Like Joey Styles came out and they talked about how Paul owed them all this money. Paul Heyman filed for bankruptcy. ECW company, the company folded and they filed for bankruptcy. Now, Gerard, you're an adult. You know this shit. It's not that you have, but you know this shit. When you file for bankruptcy, within the first 90 days, they can claim any one of the checks you filed in that 90 days, right? They can go back up to 90 days to take back a secured creditor can go back and take any money, any check that you have cut in 90 days, correct?
I think that's the way it works.
So you can collect the debt on somebody for the 90 days before you filed bankruptcy. So if anything, Paul Heyman saved their asses because all the money that he paid, all the money he gave back would have been collected by the IRS for any of those wrestlers that got paid. He didn't abandon ship and fuck anybody. In fact, he was trying to make sure that their money couldn't get touched. That's why.
One of the things you hear a lot about
Heyman
in ECW is the fact of, yeah, he stiffed people on money and stuff like that. But you know what I say about that is, if anybody out there can tell me a wrestling promoter from the course of time to today who hasn't stiffed people on a paycheck.
You know what Paul never got accused of? Taking someone in a back room and running a train on them. Francine, we talked about her the other day, the Queen of Extreme. Francine came out when they tried to, they wanted her to get baby oil on her tits and go in and say, Vince, what can I do for you? And again, you can
this is
hold on.
To sleep with Paul for my spot.
Hold on. I want her to say this. I want her to say this because we did this. I want her to tell you what it was said by Francine. Go ahead.
I never had to sleep with Paul for my spot.
All I'm going to say this about her is this, okay? from the neck down, yes. But when you look like you've been kicked by a mule in your
Jesus Christ, Gerard, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Thank you.
Listen.
You know what? When Jacob is being more of a fucking gentleman than you, now we have a problem on the show.
That was fucking awesome.
What I'm saying is now I'm going to go back to all I'm talking about in my ECW days to where Francine, to me, was a glorified eye candy.
That's what she was meant to be. That was her purpose there.
Problem was though, I could never look at her eye to eye because her eyes went in two different directions.
Jesus Christ. Okay, you know what? You're one of those guys who watch the show just to see Kimona want to lay you. Isn't that it? That's why.
No, I'm going to tell you. So the first time I ever went to an ECW show, Bubba Ray kicked me out of the building. Okay, number one.
Why?
He was standing at.
I can't imagine Bubba Ray being a fucking
why?
asshole.
I want to know why. Why did he kick you
I'm
out of
going
the
to
building?
tell you why. So it was him, Paul Heyman, and I'm trying to remember who else was at ringside. I came in with a WWE television jacket on. He saw me and had me removed from the building because I had a WWF television network jacket on. Okay. Then a couple months later, a buddy of mine said, "Hey, you want to go see the show?" I said, "I'm not paying for tickets because after what happened with." He goes, "No, don't worry, I'll take care of it." Okay, I went to go see the show, and this is at the end of the shows when everybody used to throw the chairs into the ring. Okay, so I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. Next show I saw after that was the mass transit incident, and I said that I just looked at my buddy and said, "Listen, I can never come back to another one of these shows." He's like, "Why?" I was like,
you saw basically an attempted murder.
Yeah, exactly. I told it, and I'm like, I ain't ready to testify for this shit because this is not professional wrestling to me. My opinion, now, like I said, my opinion at the time was it was not professional wrestling. It was glorified barroom brawls. Okay, that's what it was to me, and it wasn't entertaining. But then I got into working with the dojo. So I stopped going to all the independents like that, and I just was doing the dojo shows. And I was working the Dory Funk and stuff like that. And I said, you know what? This is the part of the wrestling business that I love to watch. The training of the new people coming up. I've said it before, working with Kurt Angle, as green as he was, Edge, Christian, Prince Albert, the guy from the Oddities there, the Giant Silver, working with some, huh?
The Giant Silver?
Giant Silver. Giant Silver. Okay. Working with some of these up-and-coming guys who would make it into the roster, that was more fun to me than actually being around all these name guys and stuff like that. I once was working an independent show with Mark Henry where I saw the man do a vertical slam dunk. And I said, guys that big shouldn't be able to jump that height and slam dunk a basketball. And, and I walked away. I said, no, I'm done. I got to go to my other career. I'm done. I'm going to go to my other career. And it took me, 22 years to get back into the ring. And when I look back at it, and I look back to everything now, and I say, when you go back into the ring and you look back into the ring and you say, I love it. I love the feeling of the dummy down of wrestling to where you can just bring it back to the common person's level. You don't need to over glorify it. We've got not just WWE or AEW, the whole industry has gotten away from simplicity of the professional.
Well, and I think there's something to be said about that because as I've gotten older, I have having a whole new appreciation for what the value of that was. We talked about it consistently.
Does Hulk Hogan get over today?
No, God, no. It's as sad as it is. No, he doesn't. The leg drop.
Does training, saying your prayers, eating your vitamins would have lasted a month, he would have got booed out of the building.
But that's not the point. I'm talking about the in-ring work, right? They're not going to be, and I think again, I don't want to talk about AEW. I have no fucking fondness for AEW anymore. I have no desire to watch AEW. But the fact that a man can fucking basically pile drive somebody on a bed of fucking nails, right?
And he still gets up.
And no, that
or stab someone continuously in the fucking head.
In the head with a fork, which was a fucking shoot thing they did. Or a fucking idiot wants to use real glass.
John Moxley has to be a fucking masochist.
Well, not just no. Listen to me. As far as from a professional fucking standpoint, they're not going to be satisfied until somebody dies in that motherfucker.
Well, Dan, yes. How much does it dummy down a lot of our childhood memories? So where it's like Mick Foley. Let's look at all the shit Mick Foley went through. Let's look at all the shit.
This is the fucked up thing I'm going to say. AEW doesn't look real at all. Doesn't have that real feel. But they're fucking really stabbing a motherfucker in the head with a fork. I will argue that watching the Midnight Express and fucking, I would say even fucking Jim Cornette's Midnight Express and Paul Heyman's Midnight Express,
one of the best angles of all time.
Them fighting with each other and the NWA. Beating the shit out of each other looked more real than the garbage I'm seeing on television now coming from AEW.
Let's go to the Road Warriors when they were doing the scaffolding matches. Let's go to them doing the scaffolding matches in the 80s. That was unheard of doing scaffolding matches.
Well, even like Elevation X and TNA, like in the fucking in 2006, 2005 era, like Elevation X, that was a match
I
you would watch.
I will argue, say what you want, like whether it's real or not, where they actually bladed or used fake blood. Gunther falling on his face, coming and crawling out of underneath there, covered in blood, felt more real than anything I've seen in the history of AEW. And
because look at who you have. You have Gunther and CM Punk going out there. Like honestly, like John Cena and Cody Rhodes and Gunther and CM Punk are the best main events they've had in a fucking long time. Like in a long time. I can't even think of another match that was better. Maybe WrestleMania 40, but that was just basically WWE's Avengers Endgame. But it was like fucking, and by the way, can we talk about how they fucked up John Cena's heel turn? How they just completely turned him face and just forgot.
Hold on, stop. I'm okay with it, and here's why.
I'm not.
Here's why. Yes, there was balls dropped as far as that goes, but at the end of the day, the question is answered. What if?
Hey, one thing, Dan, is he in Randy the Ram's van?
Yes, I am. Yeah, no, it looks like, dude. I thought, dude, Gerard. Literally, when I called you the other day, I was literally like, it looks like Randy the Ram. You know? It exactly looks like it. Yeah,
I agree with that, Leland.
Oh yeah,
but
I'm about to go work at a fucking
who's really in charge there?
Touch my fucking shit. But here's the thing with that, like it is what it is because we had Gunther and fucking CM Punk have one, like it literally was like. SummerSlam 2016 or 2014. That was the Brock massacre with John Cena. That's basically what I thought we were gonna get because Gunther was fucking destroying him, and then we have Bret Hart coming out like, I don't think that you need to, have someone chopping someone, and like, you're actually hurt.
But Bret, sit the fuck down.
No, Brett needs to fucking go somewhere else,
I will say,
enjoy a margarita.
I think you guys will both understand this one. Last weekend, SummerSlam, we saw both nights end. Never mind the schmaz at the end. The matches. I'm talking about
the main event matches were great, but it got ruined.
The matches themselves. And a lot of people are saying, for his 23 years, it was John Cena's best match.
And I'll argue this.
It was John Cena's best match in 10 years. I'm going to say that right now.
I'll argue this.
The way that match was structured.
I'll argue this. I think that if you look at you said Jacob, structure, that second night that final climax, as far as a fucking PLE, needs to be better than the first. And I think that the pacing and the timing and everything done with John Cena, look, the best imagery you can get from that match, and tell me if you agree or disagree, is John Cena coming up the Cody Vader with Cody Rhodes on his shoulder.
Fucking awesome.
Was beautiful.
It was fucking awesome. But it got ruined because, again, Brock came back. And again, by the way, like, you know, I fucking popped when Brock came. I was not expecting. I did not. That's the last thing I was expecting. Because, again, the way they fucked up this face turn and, like, the way, like, you know, Cena's like, yeah, no, I'm a good guy now, basically. Like,
so, Jacob, would you say for as bad as they messed up Saturday night, they redeemed themselves?
No, so here's the thing. We don't even talk about Saturday night. We don't even talk about Saturday night because
Seth Rollins for as bad. I'm saying to you is as bad as they went off the air Saturday night. Did they redeem themselves?
Yes.
Sunday night.
Yes. I would say so because Brock came back. Can we hit the music? Can we talk about fucking Saturday? Like, let's talk about Saturday. Let's hit the music. It's been a while.
Jacob's corner ain't no ordinary space. He rants and raves with that fire in his face. Every word a racket, shaking up the place. The whole block hears him setting his pace.
All right, we are here now. I mean, we got Trips here. I think it's as a moderator, which is fine. I feel like, you know, and man, okay. Well, here's the thing. If any of you out there, any of you, this is a public service announcement. If you think that this with Seth Rollins and the fucking Braun butt boys is good, then God help you because you have a better, like, I don't know, you have a better optimism than I ever have fucking had. But here's the thing. Everyone fucking knew that Seth Rollins was going to cash in on CM Punk. And again, you know me, I'm a CM Punk fan. I love Punk. I always love Punk. But if this is going to be another fucking 6 months or fucking how many months? This is going to be in 2 months. If this is 2 months of Seth Rollins being the champion, coming out there, yeah, it was all part of my plan. Sing my song. It's fucking horrible. It's destroying Braun Breaker. It's destroying Bronson Reed because when Seth was away, they were doing fine. Braun Breaker was cutting promos. It was fucking awesome. Now, if we're going to be here's the thing with this fucking fake injury bullshit. We got this WWE Unreal series going on right now. Okay? So you're kind of fucking with the fans again because if this was a good superstar that fucking, you know, again, I got to give credit where credit's due. That whole fucking reveal with him dropping the crutches was fucking cool. But if it was with anyone else, it would be more cool. But it's because it's Seth Rollins, dude. And then we had Nikki Bella and Becky Lynch out there fucking, oh my God. We don't even need to talk about that shit because again, I mean, can we talk about Bird Girl? I mean, where's Bird Girl at? Fucking, these aren't my Becky stompers. That killed Bird Girl's career. I will put that on the fucking map. That killed Bird Girl's career right there. I just had a stroke. But
Jacob's gonna win the truth ignites. No holding back, no silent nights. His rage cuts through the darker lights. Every lance a battle, every word a fight.
I had more to say, damn it.
You were rambling.
Well, yeah, but that's what I do. But here's the thing.
There's a picture of Gerard taking a shit.
That's awesome. But here's the thing. If this I said it a couple weeks ago, I'll say it again. If we're back to Seth Rollins being on top, then this is going down the tubes hard because every time he has the belt, he gets injured. Every time he has the belt, ratings go
topic,
down.
Thank you, Leland, for being the advocate and changing up the topic. This is where I wanted to go to next. WWE.com, as of today. Did you blow that picture up? Oh, God, I thought you put it on your wall. I was like, Jesus Christ.
I want people. Hey, one thing I will say about the picture that's behind me, and I'm hoping people to my immediately over my shoulder, right? Hold on.
Everybody knows it's Andre.
That shoulder right there, and I'm going to put right thumb. Andre the Giant.
I think Andre in his dying breath would be like, okay, Seth Rollins sucks. Oh, Seth Rollins sucks.
Enough.
But yeah, so that is me right there.
Taking a shit.
Andre in the background.
So
yeah, Andre would be like, I have many hours to live and you are wasting them.
Hold on. So Leland brought it up. I think there's something to be said about that. As at midnight tonight, the contracts of Scarlett Bordeaux and Karrion Kross, also known as Killer Kross in TNA, will be up. They can show up anywhere they want. There's no hold on their appearances. They can go and do whatever they want. But if we look back at what's gone on recently with Seth Rollins, with all this other stuff, and if the WWE will have you fooled to think that the R-Truth thing was a fucking work, which it wasn't. See, I brought up what you talked about earlier.
Can we talk about R-Truth?
Hold on. No, we can't. Hold on. I think that this is a work. I think that Karrion Kross is absolutely still with that company. I still think he's getting paid handsomely.
Fucking better be.
I think that they have somebody on their hands, and if I was them, I would play the long game. Ultimately, we're looking for fucking Sami Zayn, in my opinion, to win that fucking first world title. I'm looking for him to have it, and I'm looking for him to lose it within 15 fucking minutes.
I heard somebody say the other day, regardless if Karrion Kross is signing on, okay, what they need to do, whether it's a work or not, is have him show up at every building with a sign basically saying free agent, something like that.
Fuck that. I want him to show up in TNA. I want him to show up in AEW. I want him to show up in New Japan. I want him to show up in AAA. I want him to show up in LMW. I want him going everywhere. And absolutely, I think that Sami Zayn's going to win the Royal Rumble.
Sami Zayn is washed, man, because like this guy is a fucking dork. He's a fucking dork. Every single time. Listen to me right now. Every single time they've had Sami try to be the main guy, he fucking he acts like a fucking idiot. I don't know what Triple H is doing with this guy, but look at how he was portrayed, because Karrion Kross was over instead of Sami Zayn. That tells you everything you need to fucking know. Doesn't give a shit.
Hold on. I think you're wrong. I think
at the Rumble and help Sami Zayn win.
Hold on. I think you're both wrong. I think you're wrong because of the fact that when you watch Karrion Kross, you hear that music. Yes, they cheer him. But as soon as that fucking Sami Zayn song comes on, the entire fucking
That's all
audience,
he has. That's all he has.
So does Seth. And
shit.
they still cheer him.
Yeah, well, that's great. Okay, well, fucking that's great. You know, it's like
can't speak for the entire.
Are we gonna give the fucking world title to the fucking class clown?
You know what? You can't speak for all wrestling fans.
I don't. But like again, I'm the consumer. I'm the consumer. Entertain me. Like, don't fucking cry.
Okay, you're 1% of a consumer base.
That's
great. But like again, if this motherfucker every time, like every single, he's a loser. He's a loser.
For you.
Everything that's been portrayed, Sami Zayn, he's a loser. He loses things. He's a loser.
Leland, please.
Jey Uso. Jey Uso. Again,
up.
we're talking about Jey Uso. Fuck Jey Uso. Fucking motherfucker is always gassed. He always fucking is. They did the Unreal show. Triple H really fucking said it on the Unreal show. We're gonna talk about the Unreal. He's gassed. He doesn't have he does a dive and this and that. It's like, yeah, because he's gassed and he's a fucking alcoholic. It's okay. Fuck Jey Uso.
Hold on. Jacob, enough. Gerard.
My question was, does Kevin Owens come back and help Sami Zayn win?
We don't know if Kevin Owens is ever coming back.
Can he do something to where he doesn't wrestle, but he helps Sami Zayn get to that point?
From my understanding, he's fucked right now. He's very
it kind of sucks because he might be in the Big E category because I think Big E's done for. I really wish they had put Big E on commentary because it'd be better than whatever the fuck Corey Graves is doing. But
I'm glad you bring that up because I've said to people, I am enjoying Wade Barrett's commentary lately.
Wade Barrett rules. I wish he would get back in the ring. Like, I really wish, because I know he probably has some shit left in the tank. Wade Barrett versus Drew McIntyre, man, that's a story they could tell.
And that was something they were talking about a couple years back.
No, they could tell.
I'm saying it's been on commentary lately, and it's like listening to Bobby Heenan with an English accent. Okay, because
Yeah,
of just
that's a great
some of
comparison.
the stuff he says, you just say, "What the." But you laugh.
He's hilarious. He's fucking hilarious. And it's like, again, we have fucking dullards like fucking Corey Graves. And again, I love Booker T, but like everything Booker T does now is just simp over the women. Like, I
guess
quack, quack.
By Vince not being around, by not having the announcers dummied down anymore to where they can speak like they're a fan of the business and not just an employee of it.
In the same breath, Gerard, you're also in a point where you don't have an old 80-year-old man yelling in your fucking earpiece that you're a piece of shit and you're not doing it the way he wants you to do it.
Listen, I'm going to tell you this right now.
Shit. Michael Cole literally said, "Holy shit," when Brock Lesnar showed up.
Yes, he did.
When
it's
Jesse
like,
was out
that's
there,
accurate.
When Jesse was out there with Vince, it was probably the best Vince was ever on the mic. Was when Jesse was with him. But Vince wasn't the greatest commentator in the world.
Vince isn't the greatest anything. I'm sorry.
No, he was. No,
Now,
he's great at shitting on people.
Both physically and metaphorically.
Physically and literally.
What I'm going to say about that is this. There's not any boss in the world that doesn't do to his employees in the non-physical way, because every boss will dump on their employees.
My boss does not.
Yeah, okay.
I'm positive. My boss is actually really fucking awesome.
But
okay, oh, no, hold on. Now that you say that, you have entered the Jacob category as far as wrestling is not just built for one of you two fuckers. It is built for everybody, and it's built for a majority. So if they don't, hold on, no, Jacob, stop interrupting. Jacob, stop interrupting, because you interrupt Gerard, you interrupt me. Stop, both of you, one at a time, or I'm turning this into a fucking round table, and no one's talking unless she gives you permission.
I'm sorry.
Jacob's wrestling is not built for just you. It's not built for just me. It's not built for just fucking Namaste over there. All right? Wrestling, and what made us love and fall in love with wrestling, is a universal sport. And I call it a sport. Yes, it's built on entertainment, but it's a sport of athletic individuals, men and women, who go out there and wreck their bodies for our enjoyment. That being said, you can listen to a crowd and they will say, and they will sing Jey Uso's theme. And that got him over.
Well, half of the audience is
Jacob. You can listen to a crowd and they will sing Randy Orton's thing, the lyrics all out. You can listen to a crowd who will sing Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, and that is telling you what they want. And whether you like it, I like it, or George Strait's twin brother likes it, every one of us enjoy wrestling. Not everybody that we like gets over. Perfect example. I am a fucking guy who's never really got what he wanted from the wrestling business, but I'm still there. Bray Wyatt should have been a multi-time world champion, in my opinion. Scott Levy Raven should have had some of the best gimmicks in the world because he was brilliant for the fucking mind. Jake the Snake, yes, he had problems, but he should have been a world champion. Roddy Piper should have been a world champion at some point, but these things never happened because that's where the company went. And yet after fucking almost 40 years of I'm 39 years old, but almost 40 years, the oldest memories I have are loving wrestling. And I'm still, as much as it pisses me off, as much as my heart breaks sometimes because the guys that I love don't get what I think is due, I'm still watching it. So there's got to be something said, Gerard, that yes, maybe you don't like Seth Rollins. Yes, I get it. I don't like Seth Rollins. I think he's a fucking tool bag. But The motherfucker draws money enough for them to keep pushing him. And you're
All right, can
pissed
you give
off.
me
Hold
the
on,
analytics on that?
stop. It's enough that you want to watch CM Punk beat his fucking ass. And you can't say you don't because you want CM Punk to put his foot in his fucking ass and beat the piss out of him. You want to watch it, don't you?
They've had multiple matches.
But you still want to see him. You still want to get him.
No, I don't give a shit about Seth Rollins and CM Punk. I don't give a shit about Seth Rollins. He needs to go away. He needs to, like, I'm not going to wish death on anyone, but I think
How valid would it be for you to watch him lose the belt?
Because he's not going to. Triple H loves him. He's his butt boy.
Okay, but that you're invested enough that you feel that way. Then stop
I'm
watching.
not invested. I don't care. When Seth is on, I change the fucking channel. I changed my fucking streaming service.
So
I knew immediately when he won the fucking title, we're gonna get a 20-minute fucking promo with him in the ring. And then this is my master plan. My master plan.
and you're still watching. You're still on a podcast about wrestling.
Yeah. Well, because what else am I supposed to fucking do? What? I'm gonna watch fucking what? I'm gonna watch AEW. I'm gonna watch fucking Kyle Fletcher.
Figure skating.
You could watch Alaskan bear wrestling. I don't know.
Figure skating.
Fuck Alaska right now. We're not even gonna talk about Alaska. It's windy as shit. My whole fucking trailer is shaking right now. It's ridiculous. But
ultimately what I'm getting at is all of us are still watching this shit. All of us are still emotionally invested to a point that we're fucking on a podcast every Sunday talking about the same bullshit.
Well, again, because
you have a whole segment dedicated to you, Jacob.
Okay, yeah, okay. Well, the sky is blue and the fucking grass is green. I don't fucking, you know what I mean? Like, it's if I'm gonna talk about how Seth Rollins is, then then I don't know what else we have to talk about because Seth Rollins sucks. Everything about that happened since he's won the title. It's been shitty, and it's like Triple H loves this guy. That's his fucking butt boy, and we have Seth and the Butt Boys because they don't have a fucking name. So it's this is the vision. This is the vision. What the fuck does that mean? What does it mean? And then fucking we have Becky Lynch.
And Leland, to your comment, I didn't miss your comment, Leland. Leland, to your comment, I don't know. I think the guy has
because he's old and Triple H doesn't like him. There we go. That's the fucking.
You don't know that. Again, you're fucking.
I don't know anything, Dan. I don't know anything. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow, but that's the fucking thing. I wish that they would have this shit, but if they really
do too.
If they really think that attaching their fucking wagon to Seth and that this is the way to go with Seth and the Butt Boys. That's why I call them Seth and the Butt Boys, because again, we had Braun Breaker. Fuck it. When Seth was injured, I was like, fuck yeah, great. Now we can get him the fuck out of here.
Let me ask you this. Do you like the fucking gimmick, the tribal thief and his Shula Fala?
Yeah, because that's funny. Seth has never been funny. He tries to be funny.
So would you argue that Bronson Reed, who you remember were talking shit about recently, you didn't like Bronson?
I didn't talk shit about Bronson Reed. I think
maybe not recently, but a while back, you were like, he doesn't do anything. I'm talking about when he was with the Bloodline, but now because he's in association with Seth Rollins, someone you don't like.
That has nothing to do with Seth. That has nothing to do with Seth.
Would he be in this program? Would he be in this program if it wasn't for Seth Rollins?
Probably not, but who fucking cares? That's the thing. Who cares? Who the fuck cares?
Wait, let me tell you one thing about Monday. The one thing I witnessed Monday that I will say it was done the right way. With a certain segment with your women's intercontinental champion and the former ex-fiance of a certain wrestler. That actually went over better to me than a lot of the rest of the show did. Because why? How real did it feel when Becky Lynch said to Nikki Bella, don't get mad at me because me and my husband are more
hot husband.
I'm more over than you and wait a minute. And the crowd blew up.
Yeah, that's the only time the crowd blew up during that whole show. And that's embarrassing. because Becky has been losing a step. And again,
They
if we're
also
gonna-
blew up at the sight of a certain Mexican wrestler from the Gulf of America.
Yeah, hold on, the triple.
Well,
Listen,
can
all
like
they're missing
again,
is
like
all
if
they're
we're
missing is the
talking about
lawnmowers.
Nikki Bella and this thing, like if we're talking about Nikki Bella in 2025, it's kind of fucking embarrassing either way because again,
Hey, wait a minute. She's from your home state. You can't downplay somebody from your home state.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, where's Bree at? Where's Brema? Where's that at? Come on, like it's if Nikki Bella is like here's the thing with that. Nikki Bella got flustered with that. You could tell because she didn't know how to fucking respond to that. She was like, "Oh, yeah."
The crowd sure did though, Jacob.
No, that's the whole fucking point.
The crowd responded. And what did she go into? Becky said something else. And what did she go into? That the crowd responding very well for.
Yeah.
And the
Where's
crowd
he at?
responded
Fucking
very well for the
his brain is mush at this point. You know, his brain is mush. And,
So,
you know,
but what I'm saying is the fact of they all know who her brother-in-law is. They all know. And I'm saying is the fact of to put that out there, and I'm going to put it like this. You don't hear the same crap off of Becky and Nikki that you heard off of Charlotte and Tiffany.
At least spell my name right, Leland. Come on.
It's with a K, Leland.
Yeah, it's with a K. It's Jacob with a K, you motherfucker.
That's why we call him Jacoby.
And I didn't even sleep in this trailer last night, you motherfucker. Ha ha ha.
But I'm saying is the fact of
He's see that? Yeah, I didn't.
But I'm saying is that one promo to where you got the women over the way they did. And then when Becky looked at Nikki and said, "You know why we've never wrestled before?" Bam! Straight out smacking them off, punching them off. And I looked at it and I said, "You know what? That's what's missing in the women today." She finally said, "No more talking." Bam! And I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed the fact of a woman just took to another woman and went bang. No talking.
And the fact that Nikki Bella has the most intriguing storyline for the women right now tells you everything you need to know.
I'd argue that right now the most intriguing storyline is Rhea Ripley and Io Sky because like it's compelling. It's years long. It's years in the making because Rhea has never beaten her. It's almost like that fucking.
We're gonna build that one up right too.
Well, and I'm
what about
loving it.
Bird Girl? What happened to Bird
Who
Girl?
gives a shit about Bird Girl?
Yeah.
But
Woo! Yeah. See now you come around, Dan, huh? Yeah.
No, I think she had moments where she was a good wrestler, but I was telling Trips the other day, I can't remember fucking her going a 6-month period without having a wardrobe malfunction. Oh no! Please tie the back of my dress. I can't get it off. And oh my god! Here, Jessica Carr, please tie my dress. I don't know what's happened. Oh my beats have got in out.
First of all, that's the only thing that Bird Girl has going.
Australia. That's going to keep going right until Australia.
I don't know. I think that,
I mean,
you
I wish
okay. So
Carr
what's
would have a wardrobe malfunction. Shit. Like,
what you have proven though, as far as Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, is they can wrestle 1-on-1, fatal 4-way, triple threat, ladder match, last man standing,
And
anything.
make it believable.
They can have anyone around them and make them better. And what
No,
Naomi proved, like what I saw from SummerSlam.
Naomi is the fucking best woman right now because
I don't agree with that, but what I do agree with
I'll
is
say it
that
wholeheartedly.
Naomi has shown so much growth in a 6-month period that she has become compelling again. Now, if she can win over my wife, that'll be the fucking day. But I'm looking forward to see what she does with Stephanie Vicaire because where I was at first, I thought at Clash in Paris, Stephanie Vicaire was going to roll right over her and be the new women's champion. And now I don't know. I don't know who's walking out of that match.
Would you say the walkout with Mercedes was the best thing that ever happened to her?
Yes.
Oh God, yes.
That
Yes,
she was able to turn that negative into a positive in the eyes of the higher beings and say, wait a minute, maybe we.
Well, when she went to TNA, Gerard, when she went to TNA as Trinity Fatu, When she went to TNA, Gerard, as Trinity Fatu, she established that she could actually go in the ring. She wasn't just this fucking glow stick ass fucking wrestler. That she didn't have a
Those
fucking
matches with Jordan Grace are some of
yes.
the best.
The matches she had with Jordan Grace were amazing.
She wasn't Mrs. Jimmy Uso.
No, she was Trinity Fatu. She was.
Honestly, like Naomi never was that. Like she never was. Like it only like came out later, like for Total Divas, that she was married to fucking Jimmy Uso. But she always fucking carried herself a good way. And when she went to TNA, it fucking like accentuated.
And so when she came back at the Royal Rumble and that surprise moment,
the way the crowd popped, that was the biggest pop of the whole night, literally.
Absolutely, I would agree with that to an extent. But to see her turn that around and stop being a face and pleading to the crowd, they love her now more than they ever did because she deserves this. She deserves this. Like she it was sad when they put her in the big three because she was never going to get over in that, because you look at Jade Cargill and look at someone like Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair is hard to like. You can't get out of that shadow because Bianca Belair, let's be honest, has everything you want in a woman's wrestler. She's beautiful. She's fucking fantastic in the ring. She can do promos. She's all about fucking girl empowerment and taking care of the young girls and doing all the fucking Make-A-Wish stuff. And yet you can't beat that. So the best way you beat it, or best way you can compete with that, is to do the opposite. Naomi, with this, proceed with caution gimmick, has done her best work of her entire career. I think she's shown so much growth. Yeah.
What's the one, Dan and Jacob? What's one of the biggest things that a lot of the seasoned veterans will say when it comes to wrestlers, man or woman? If you don't believe your gimmick, how do you expect me to believe?
And I'm with you, but see, Naomi also understands that she's got a limited amount of time. The perfect example of someone like that is Natalya Neidhart. She's out of time, in my opinion. Now, and Natty needs to just stop and go and work on. And I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to be a dick, but to try to rebrand your gear or rebrand this or become the Dungeon Dolls or whatever. Natty's like literally. I'll quote Nick Bockwinkel. I'll go back to someone like Nick Bockwinkel. Does the old veteran have enough gas?
I wish people would draw, because Chris Jericho, when he was 2008, I wish people would draw, like, watch Nick Bockwinkel.
I'm going to quote one of my favorite lines from Nick Bockwinkel when he was facing off against Vern Gagne for the AWA World Title. Does this aspiring young man, is he going to run over the veteran? Does this veteran have enough gas in the tank to make it one more time? Does he have enough in his fingernails to put it in the tank just to get him over the finish line? Or will he fall to my greatness? Like, to watch Nick Bockwinkel and how you look at someone like Natty, she needs to either look. What I would love to see from Natty,
they have her on camera, okay. But the sad part is, they have her on camera, but the behind.
Jesus.
Hold on, but the behind the scenes role.
Why is that a bad thing?
No.
I love to see it on camera.
But the behind the scenes role.
Sister does other shit.
Jacob, you're still licking your chops over Chelsea Green with the cake the other night. So
hey, listen.
This is okay.
You don't talk shit about Chelsea Green.
I'm gonna say something about Natty, and it just came to me as we're talking. I do think there's a role for Natty, and I'm not talking about behind the scenes, a promoter or a producer. I want to see the purest, evilest heel turn. I don't want her coming out with new gear or trying to show off her ass or show off her tits. I want her to come out in some of the most conservative gear that I've ever seen. I want her to come out and look almost classy. Yeah, yes. I want her to come out, and I want her to be the female Nick Bockwinkel. I want her to come out and be that shit-talking, articulate, not the bubbly Natalya we've seen for years. I want her to come out there, and I want her to sharpshoot the shit out of everybody.
Have it though, Dan. See, in 20 years in the ring, she hasn't had it. So how do you think she's gonna do it now?
I think
Natalya,
hold on. I think she does. I think she can do it because
I think so too.
I think you put her out there and you have her. What I know, she's been training with fucking Maxine Dupree. And I think that you have her go out there and she breaks her fucking leg. She, like, kayfabe, but breaks her fucking back. I want to hear Maxine scream so loud they can hear it in the upper deck. I want Tozawa and fucking Otis to come out and go and be screaming. I want them crying because I want them to see what this friend of hers
So
did.
basically, you want
Well,
Natty Neidhart to do to Maxine, China to
No, not China. I want her to.
What China did.
No,
what
they
China
can-
did to Terry Reynolds. You want to see Natty do that to Maxine.
I want her to
I
break
want.
her.
Here's the thing. I'm picking back it off what Dan just said because like that could be a fucking great angle. Like Natty can just break her
Tell
fucking
me where you
leg,
go.
and like then
okay,
you
hear me
can
out,
play
hear me.
off.
I want her to
the
break.
Heart Dungeon. We got the Heart Dungeon.
Okay, yeah,
The way-
yes. Wait, hold on, Jacob. He asked where I see it going. I want her to break her. I want her to sit there and I want her to say, "Dungeon dolls, my ass."
Yes.
The dungeon meant something,
Yes.
and I allowed you because I thought you took this serious. But you're trying to get me to do backwards worms. You're trying to get me to make a mockery. You understand? I am the last student of the dungeon, the most revered, the hardest, the best fucking training academy there ever
Goddamn
was.
right.
And I'm going to allow you to besmirch everything that means. I have wasted my time, my precious years in this business, wasted with all of you bopping little whores who know nothing about real wrestling.
Barbie dolls.
And
I'm going
that
to
was
show
cool.
you. I'm
Like,
not,
dude,
and I want her to take that microphone and say, "I'm not talking anymore. I'm going to show you." And then I want her to sit there and destroy the next 4 or 5 opponents, and not just
Show
beat them.
vignettes, like in the fucking Heart Dungeon. 'cause
I
the
want
Heart
her
Dungeon-
down in a pit looking dungeon as like the way it was.
Yes,
And I want her breaking people over and over. I want them
'cause
bringing
that's what Stu
and
did.
saying, "I want the next one. I want the next one. I
That's
want
what
the next
Stu
one."
did.
It rubs
And
the
literally,
lotion
that's what
on
Stu
his
did.
skin,
Everyone
gets the
who
hose
fucking-
again.
But that's what I'm saying. I want her coming out and putting people in sharpshooters over and over again, and I want her dripping in sweat and going, "Is that it?
Like I
Is
said,
that what
No,
I've dumbed
that's the
myself down
thing,
all
man.
these years? I don't.
when she came out on that one show with the fucking Bloodsport, when she came out like just as Natty Neidhart, and it was fucking the most legit women's wrestler that has looked in a long time.
I don't
Fuck
want her in the
Charlotte
blonde
Flair.
hair anymore. I want her in the dark hair she used to have, that dark auburn hair. I want her coming out there and doing it.
Yes.
If
no,
anything,
listen. So what you say? So what I'm hearing you talking, okay? All I'm thinking is, it rubs the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again.
see, that's not what I'm going for. I'm
It's
going
sort of-
for.
I'm thinking of like a Silence of the Lambs
No,
kind of
do
thing.
vignettes,
Natty
like
Neidhart.
do vignettes of her fucking training women, like fucking putting her through the fucking ringer. You don't have to do the real Heart Dungeon. Fucking make a fake Heart Dungeon.
No,
That's
no,
fine,
no,
but I don't want her
no,
training
no,
shit.
no.
I want her to go out there and say that everything she's done has been a waste of time training these stupid Barbie dolls.
Hey Dan, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Would her coming out in the "Do you trust me" kind of vignettes?
I
Yeah.
think you can evolve into that.
That and I'm saying to you is that's one of those ones. So now that kind of thing with her, only with her. If she can do it right, if she does it wrong, she comes across as a bumbling airhead.
So,
Well, let me
but hear
put
me
it
out.
to you- let me put it to
Ultimately,
you like this.
I give you this. You can put the title on her one last time, and this is how you do it. You do all this. Stephanie Vicaire beats Trinity, or I'm sorry, Naomi. Stephanie Vicaire has a couple months with the title, and by that time, you have Natty as the perfect opponent. There's no way that Natty can beat this young Chilean star. No way. She beats her in 5 fucking minutes and says,
guess where it's
"When I
done?
stopped wasting my time,
And
here's
where's
where we're
it
at now."
done? You
me
find
put
a
it to you
way
like
to have
this.
that match anywhere in Canada.
And she doesn't
Let's put
stay
it
and
like
pose with the
this.
belt. She picks the belt up. Fuck the fucking Death Riders. She picks the belt up. She looks at it and she carries it out. She just drags. She doesn't even put it on. She drags it out.
But do
Let
it
me put it
in
to you like
Canada.
this. My mom, who is not a wrestling fan at all, my mom does not give a shit about wrestling, but she loves Natty because of Total Divas. Like when that was on, Natty was her fucking.
But that's what I'm
Lord.
saying. You have her go out there and completely denounce that show. You say, "I'm not
Yes,
a fucking
yes,
diva. I am the
exactly.
first I'm the
Every
first woman.
time I tell my mom I'm watching wrestling, she's like, "Well, what's Natty doing?" I'm just like, "Well, Natty's at home with her cats." I don't know, like, because she's never on the show. But it's like
You get away from that. You get away from all of that. You tell like
they really have something special with Natty, and they don't do it because again, like she had to go to Bloodsport to make her look fucking legit, and like she is legit. She's fucking like her shit with Masha Slamovich was fucking awesome.
I think what they do is they actually have Natty bleed.
I think so. Yeah.
I think she busts her nose and then she takes it and goes and keeps on pushing.
Here's the thing, like then you're at the Becky Lynch territory, but like Becky's out here fucking.
But the Natty is more believable than the man. I'm sorry. Hold on.
Yeah.
Wife, could you please come back in? Could you please come back in real quick? I want to ask you a question. I want to ask her a question directly. As a woman,
you guys want to talk about the Becky stompers?
Hold on.
I'm gonna get
hold on.
Becky stompers.
Hold on. You do not like the man Becky Lynch, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do you think that Natalya, the female daughter of the Jim the Anvil Neidhart, the woman who is the true last era, what was it? Was it era? Yeah. Era to the fucking Hart dynasty. You think heir, sorry, could she pull that off?
Yes.
Would you be interested in seeing a heel, serious ass kicker, Natty Neidhart?
Yeah.
Do you think that women would find that believable and actually support her?
Yeah, I think that's a lot more believable than
let me ask you
fuck
both
Becky
this,
Lynch
though.
has been doing for the past 5 years. The man bullshit is bullshit.
I want you
now
to.
that we have the man
Has it
comes
come
around
past
to
his time,
being
though?
held down by the man. Nothing irritates me more than that whole fucking marketing.
Hold on.
Marketing
We don't have a trips corner,
Right,
but
my
I want
only
you. Hold on.
question is, does Natty Neidhart's gimmick about the last Hart dynasty in today's wrestling crowd?
Yes, because we're waiting for it. Hold on. You know what, Gerard? Timeout. Jacob, timeout. We don't have a Trips' Corner, but this is something I wanted to talk about for the longest time. We have 3 minutes. Trips.
Good.
I want you to take the fucking wheel and tell us what you feel about women's wrestling right now, where it's at, and what the fucking man means to you.
I hate the whole man shtick. I think, especially when you put it now in the context of where a Natty resurgence could come from, that is a strong woman who is carrying the legacy of a family of men in a male-dominated industry, but she has her own path. She has her own training. She has her own talent. She carries the name and is worthy of that name. She just happens to be a woman in that family, right? This wrestling dynasty. Becky Lynch coming out and wrecking shop with all these women, and now having to, but equating herself to be a man. That I'm so good now. I'm the man. It doesn't have to be a gender thing. It should be that this woman has come through, has dominated the division, has done all this work. Why we have to then try to equate to the success of that to being a man, and now she's being held down by the man, which is the biggest load of podswallop I've ever fucking heard. Natty is more believable. Natty is someone you can get behind. I liked Charlotte Flair because, as they talked about, like women not having to wear revealing clothes, like Lance Storm said, women can be powerful. They can make money. They can have training. They can have exposure without showing their tits and their ass. Charlotte's always done that. Like or hate her for whatever work she's had done, for whatever issues she has, she didn't come out there with her nipples out or her ass cheeks. She was athletic and she was conservative, and that I liked. I don't like Bailey, but it's the same kind of thing. Bailey came out and did her work fully clothed, no sexual angle, no sex kitten angle, and is successful. I mean, they're fucking her around right now, but she is capable of being an athlete. Charlotte is an athlete. Natty Neidhart could pull that off. Becky Lynch, if I never see her again, it will be too soon. I give a shit about her. I give a shit about her husband. Send him out.
I mean, she hit the fucking nail on the head. That's what I'm saying. Like,
And there's nothing more that we can really say. We're hit that mark. We've had a wonderful show. We're gonna have to start doing more fucking trips, right? You guys agree? Who are y'all? Are y'all with that? Y'all digging that?
We need Trips this corner, man.
We heard to just fucking go out. Fucking yeah. I'm Dan.
Dude, that
That's
was probably
Swimming
the
Gerard.
best. I couldn't have said it better myself. Because again, like what Trips just said,
Chucking
Like,
that, see, that
fucking-
bushwhacker in there is fucking going nuts over here. You hear that?
Yeah, we got Bailey, we got Charlotte. Like Charlotte's never like relied on sexualization until like towards the
Hold
very,
on,
like,
Jacob. We're done. We're done. There's nothing more to say. So I'm Dan. That's Gerard.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
Jacob,
yeah.
Jacoby, McGovern. We are done. Put a fork in her. Trips, take us out.
All of you Marks have been listening to the Marks Podcast on YouTube.